Well, after covering the first installment of a franchise that helped kick off Pixar, it's now time to talk about the second installment of this franchise.
Yo, dudes, the Empire's pretty chill. Maybe you could, join it or something.
Hey everyone, Lucamus Prime here, so it's time for another review in the Toy Story franchise reviews I'm going to be doing, and today I'm going to be reviewing what is, of course, the second installment of the franchise, which, of course, is 1999's Toy Story 2, directed once again by John Lasseter and co-directed by Ash Brannon and Lee Unkrich, who would later, of course, go on to direct Toy Story 3 and Coco. So, now, when it comes to this film, guys, so how was this movie made? So, this film was initially envisioned by Disney as being a direct-to-video sequel, which probably, in my opinion, was a really good idea because Toy Story was a beloved movie and people would love to see it again in theaters absolutely for a sequel, no doubt. The film began production in a building separated from Pixar on a small scale, as most of the main Pixar staff were busy working on A Bug's Life released the previous year in 1998. When story reels proved promising, Disney upgraded the film to a theatrical release, but Pixar was unhappy with the film's quality. The film's plot was also redeveloped in one weekend as well. Although most Pixar features take years to develop, the established release date could not be moved and the production schedule for Toy Story 2 was compressed into 9 months. Despite these struggles, the film opened on November 24th, 1999 to wildly successful box office numbers, eventually grossing over $511 million, and it received widespread acclaim with a 100% rating on Rotten Tomatoes like its predecessor, and is regarded by many as being one of the greatest animated films ever made. And it went on to be the third highest grossing film of 1999 behind Star Wars: The Phantom Menace and The Sixth Sense. Among its accolades, the film won the Best Motion Picture, Musical or Comedy at the 57 Golden Globe Awards. It's even had many home releases, because as you can see, I have it on Blu-ray here, and a theatrical 3D re-release in 2009 on the 10th anniversary of the initial release as part of a double feature with the first movie. When it comes to my reaction to this film, guys, so I, of course, watched this film when I was a kid, I can think it was probably around 2009 when I was getting into a franchise, and like the first movie, which I, of course, covered in last week's review, I definitely really loved this sequel. I think it's a pretty amazing sequel, in my opinion, really is. So, and I regard it as my third favourite in the Toy Story franchise, absolutely. Definitely an amazing movie, in my opinion, absolutely. So what is this movie about? So, Woody, who is voiced once again by Tom Hanks, is stolen from his home by toy dealer Al McWiggin, voiced by Wayne Knight, who is, of course, the one in charge of Al's Toy Barn, which, of course, was hinted at on in the first movie on the TV Buzz watches when he's a toy. Leaving Buzz, voiced by Tim Allen, once again, and the rest of the gang to try to rescue him. But when Woody discovers that he's actually a valuable collectible from a once popular television show called Woody's Roundup and is reunited with his horse Bullseye, Jesse the Yodeling Cowgirl, voiced by John Cusack, and his faithful sidekick Stingy Pete Prospector, voiced by Kelsey Grammer, he doesn't want to leave. So what is great about this movie? So one thing that's definitely great about it is, once again, the voice acting. So once again, Tom Hanks and Tim Allen reprised the roles as Woody and Buzz, and they proved to be amazing in their roles, and I would never cast anyone other than them to voice them, in my opinion, ever, because it's my favourite roles of those two actors, absolutely. And when it comes to other returning toys, I also as well love the return of others like Andy's toys, such as Wallace Shawn as Rex, Jim Varney, may he rest in peace, as Slinky Dog, and I believe this was unfortunately his final appearance as Slinky, because he unfortunately died the following year in 2000, may rest in peace. And yeah, it's very sad that he died. He was only 50 when he died too, which is a massive shame. Went too soon. I also love Don Rickles, may he rest in peace, as Mr. Potato Head. I like how this film made him more likeable than the first movie, and I like how he joined the team to rescue Woody. I definitely like that. So I definitely think he had great character development in his movies, in my opinion. I also as well love the return as well of Ali Ermey, may he always rest in peace, as Sarge as well. He was once again pretty good as Sarge, in my opinion. And also the return of John Morris returning as Andy, and also, of course, Laurie Metcalf as his mum as well. And they were definitely once again great in their roles. And also as well, Annie Potts as Bo Peep. Although I feel she didn't really appear much in the movie, sadly. She only appeared like at the beginning and the end, really didn't really appear much, sadly, compared to the first movie. When it comes to the new characters, I definitely love the addition of course, Joan Cusack as Jessie, the Lowling Cowgirl, new character. Probably my favourite role of all time from Joan Cusack, absolutely. And I also love the addition, of course, of Wayne Knight as, of course, Al McWiggin, who is, of course, the owner of Al's Toy Barn. Like, he's definitely a really funny character, in my opinion. Definitely a very funny villain. And he's written really well because, like, he attempts to become rich by stealing Woody in a cunning way and selling a roundup gang to a Torco museum in Japan, all while he does his best to make sure the toys are unharmed at the same time. And, like, Wayne Knight does a really great job voicing him. Definitely one of my favourite voice was Wayne Knight, and he, of course, would also voice Emperor Zurg in both, like, his Dark One TV show, which I watched when I was a kid, too, yeah. And that's definitely my favourite voice role, but this is probably my second favourite voice role of his, in my opinion. Like, he's so expressive and silly, but he's one of the hammiest villains to come to a Pixar movie. Like, very ambitious and greedy owner as well. And he, of course, gets a pretty good comeuppance at the end as well. Oh, yeah. Definitely deserved, because of how greedy he is. I also as well love, of course, Kelsey Grammer as a voice of Stinky Pete, the Prospector. Definitely a very good character, in my opinion. Very well written. Definitely played him really well. And probably one of my favourite voice roles of Kelsey alongside Sergeant Bob in The Simpsons. But yeah, he voiced Stinky Pete really well, in my opinion. Did a great job voicing him. And when it comes to new characters who are among Andy's toys, I like the addition of Estelle Harris, may she rest in peace, as Mrs. Potato Head. She, of course, was hinted at the end of the first movie, and she, of course, made her appearance in this movie. And it's probably my favourite role of all time from Estelle Harris, may she rest in peace. I was very sad that she passed away. I think it was like sometime in 2022, yeah, rest in peace. But she was great in this movie as her. And although I feel that she, like Bo Peep and some of Andy's other toys, didn't have much screen time. They only appeared at the beginning and the end of the movie, sadly. She finally got used better in the next movie, which I was happy about. And I also love the addition as well of Jodie Benson as a toy of Barbie, who comes along with the toys as a tour guide at Al's Toy Barn. It was pretty cool, actually, that she did a great job voicing Barbie in this. And this film, of course, once again, uses product placement the right way this time compared to other franchises, and definitely does it the right way, in my opinion. And this is definitely no exception here. Other great things, in my opinion, besides the voice acting, is once again amazing animation for 1999 and Pixar standards, and definitely, in my opinion, an improvement to the first movie in terms of animation, and because one thing that I noticed with this movie compared to a previous movie is that I feel some of the animation for the humans didn't really look that good in the first film, but in the sequel they definitely improved the animation for the humans and did it very well, in my opinion. And definitely holds up to this day because, like, the Toy Story trilogy, in my opinion, is a timeless trilogy which never has and never will get old, in my opinion, and this one's definitely no exception. And as always, the characters are unforgettable and likeable, as always. Absolutely great characters. I've already said that some of them are more likeable than the first one, like Mr. Potato, for example, because he helps out to rescue Woody. I like that. And he knows his mistakes too, when Buzz brings up that he threw Woody off the moving van, of course, at the end of the first movie. And yeah, and I also thought the pacing is also great too, because this film is like 92 minutes, guys, and but the pacing is definitely done very well, in my opinion. It's not too slow or too fast, in my opinion. It moves at a very good pace. And it's definitely, a great movie and has a great story as well. And the film also has, probably, in my opinion, probably the saddest scene in the whole franchise, which is probably Jessie's backstory. It's definitely a very sad scene where it shows her life with a previous owner called Emily. And she says she can relate to Andy in that sense, really, as well. And the song called When She Loved Me is also very sad too. It definitely helps emphasise the feeling of being abandoned as well. The film also does a great job as well at referencing the first film and connecting to it really well. For example, I like how Buzz motivates his team to rescue Woody by saying that they never gave up when Sid strapped Buzz to a rocket in the first movie and Woody rescued him. And of course, how Buzz said they didn't give up when, of course, Woody got thrown off a moving van and Mr. Taylor was like, oh, you had to bring that up. That was definitely a funny scene, in my opinion. And once again, like the first movie, the score of Randy Newman is once again amazing, as always. He does a great job composing the music, in my opinion, although One bad quality I do have with this film is that I wish he included his You Got a Friend in Me song. Unfortunately, he wasn't in this. Instead, it was like covers of it. One by Tom Hanks as Woody on the Woody's Roundup show, and the one by the new toy Wheezy. And I did like Wheezy in this, who was of course voiced by Joe Ranft, may he rest in peace. Probably my favourite role of him, in my opinion. It's very sad that he died, but I did like him as Wheezy, and he definitely got a very good singing voice as well. I think it was him doing the singing at the end, I think, yeah. Although it would have been nice if the opening featured Randy Newman's version of the song. I feel there was something missing there. The opening voice is still pretty cool, though, how it actually shows Buzz on a mission, you know, hunting Zurg. And we first think it's going to be like maybe like a movie about Buzz or something, and wondering what's going on. But then of course it's revealed that Rex is playing the game and he loses against Zurg. Yeah, definitely a pretty nice way to start a movie, in my opinion. And the film has lots of funny moments too as well. Many of them get a good laugh out of me, because yeah, I have lots of really great laughs about it. And also as well, the film also had many iconic lines too as well, which were definitely nice to listen to as well. There's many which are really funny. I mean, one that's very popular is probably Rex's line, which is, "But I don't want to use my head." When of course he uses his head to break through the vent and to rescue Woody, the toys. And there is also as well a very funny scene which of course references Star Wars, where there's like a toy of Zurg which fights the Buzz, of course, the other Buzz who you know accompanies the gang when they think he's their Buzz, when it's not. It's a random Buzz from Al's toy barn. When they're fighting, Buzz says to him that he killed his father, but then Zurg says, "No, Buzz, I am your father." And then of course Buzz yells, "No!" Which of course is referencing the very famous scene from The Empire Strikes Back, probably one of the greatest plot twists ever executed in cinematic history. And definitely a pretty funny thing as well. Especially how this film, you know, makes reference to Star Wars with, of course, you know, the Buzz Lightyear franchise, really, which is pretty cool. The first one, of course, mentioned that he's building a space station that wants to wipe out planets, which, of course, is like a Death Star, isn't it? Yeah. Then, of course, in this film, yeah, Zurg being Buzz' father. It's just like Darth Vader telling Luke he's his father, isn't it? Pretty cool. And yeah, this sequel is definitely great, really. Really is. It continues the charm that the first film had, and it still has it, really. The world building is also great, too, with new locations featured in this, like, of course, Al's toy barn being featured after it was hinted at in the first movie. Then, of course, his big apartment building, which is pretty cool as well. And the airport scene is also definitely great to watch. Definitely visually stunning as well for 999 standards, too, especially the plane scene, of course. And the film also makes it a lot more serious from the first film as well, because in the film, of course, Woody unfortunately gets his arm ripped, which is a bit of a shame, yeah, poor Woody. And I definitely like the scene as well where his arm gets repaired. And I believe that the character who repairs his arm, I think it's a character from a Pixar short called Jerry's Game. I think it's Jerry. It looks a lot like him. I could be wrong, but it looks a lot like Jerry. Yeah, definitely a pretty cool scene in my opinion, and nice music to go with it as well. And yeah, this movie is definitely a really amazing sequel, in my opinion, and definitely really great to watch. And last night's rewatch was definitely an amazing blast to watch as well, in my opinion. Great to rewatch it. Brought nice memories from my childhood. Yeah, because yeah, when I watched it as a kid, I definitely loved it, really. Really did, yeah. The Toy Story trilogy never gets old as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, and it was because of this film that I became a fan of a franchise, and I'm thinking I've got to see the third film in theatres, because this was, of course, before I saw it in theatres, guys. So yeah, so definitely, in my opinion, a great sequel. However, there is unfortunately some bad qualities I do of this movie. So I've already said that one of them is that I feel some of Andy's toys didn't get much screen time in this compared to the first one, like Bo Peep, for example. Oh, and I also said that I wish Randy Newman did his You Got a Friend in Me song again in this sequel, but unfortunately it wasn't there, sadly. And there's also a pretty scary scene as well, guys, which isn't really appropriate for its target audience, which of course is, you know, young children, of course, because this film, of course, is rated universal. It's probably the scene where Woody has a nightmare where he gets Robert Andy into a trash can and he's handled in a swarm of toy animals which drag him in. That is somewhat disturbing, in my opinion, and a bit creepy as well, really. So yeah, when I saw this when I was a kid, I was actually pretty scared of that scene. Pretty frightening, in my opinion. Goodness me. And There's also a bit of a plot hole in this film because while I think it is cool that we get to know more about Woody in this, and we get to know that he's part of a show called Woody's Roundup from the 1950s, and he's clearly been around much longer than Andy has, of course. It's pretty confusing how he doesn't seem to remember any of his owners and old friends, who of course were, you know, Jesse Borzheim and Prospector prior to becoming Andy's toy. So, and he doesn't even know what time period he came from either, you know, the 1950s. So it's making me wonder, you know, like, why doesn't he remember his past? It's pretty confusing, really, to be honest. And maybe he forgot, I don't know. Because he's been around for so long, maybe he's completely forgotten where he came from. I don't know. Yes, it's interesting, really, to be honest. But nonetheless, I can love bad quality slide because I still love this movie. Like I said, guys, it is my third favourite in the franchise, and I love it to this day. Rewatching it last night further helps me my love for the movie, and helped me become a fan of the franchise when I watched it when I was a kid, alongside the first movie, of course. And because this movie is definitely, you know, in my opinion, a great sequel nonetheless. It's all bad quality, as I mentioned, and yeah. And the film has an excellent ending as well, because Woody convinces Jessie and Bullseye to come with him to Andy's house to be Andy's toy, so she can be played with. And she's also happy when he realizes that he's got a sister, you know, Molly. So, and the ending is definitely very intense because of the plane scene and also the suitcase scene as well, when we're fighting Prospector as well. He gets a pretty satisfying defeat where he gets attached to a little girl's bag, and she takes him with her. And of course, I think a Barbie doll gets put next to him as well, if I remember correctly, which was definitely pretty funny in my opinion. And as well as that, of course, after, of course, Woody rescues Jessie from the plane, they then return home, and Andy's very happy to see his new toys, of course, and Jessie feels very welcome, so does Bullseye as well. And then it, of course, ends with Wheezy singing "You Got a Friend in Me" as well, which is very nice. Definitely got a very good singing voice, and rest in peace, Joe Ranft. And there's even a pretty funny thing in terms of credits, in which it actually features bloopers, which is definitely pretty funny in my opinion, yeah. I never thought an animated film would feature bloopers in the credits. It was pretty funny in my opinion, and one I definitely think was also pretty funny was, it was pretty funny how there's actually like a cameo appearance of Flick from A Bug's Life, and I think another character from that movie, in the scene where Bud is like moving the leaves through when he's cutting through to get to Al's toy barn, I think so, yeah. So you could literally pretend that's a sequel to A Bug's Life, or like a secret sequel to that, couldn't you? You know, like a stealth sequel. It was pretty funny in my opinion, yeah. So, nonetheless, guys, this is me doing my review, of course, for Toy Story 2. Definitely a really amazing sequel, and if you're wondering what I'll give it out of 10, well, I think on the ranking video that I did back when I did my ranking video back in 2020, I gave it a score of, like, was it 8 out of 10, I think, if I remember correctly. And however, though, after last night's rewatch, I love this movie to this day, and to this day, and now, guys, in today's ranking of it, I now rank it a very solid 9 out of 10. Definitely, in my opinion, an amazing sequel, and of course, I'm definitely very excited about next week, because I'll be reviewing, of course, the third film, which, of course, is my favorite animated movie of all time. Can't wait to talk about this one. I'm so excited. But in the meantime, guys, this is me doing my review of Toy Story 2. So you know the drill, guys. Be sure to give this video a like. Also, be sure to let us know in the comments what you guys think of Toy Story 2. If you've seen it, comment what you think, what your thoughts are on it. Also, be sure to join Team Family Press and subscribe in this current future. If you would like to be a member, you could join in Peace Lads, or you can go to the description, and to infinity and beyond.